Hey there, here we go. We're going to get started sitting up straight and tall, starting with our neck mobility. Inhale as you extend your chin forward. Exhale as you retract your head back, sliding your chin forward and backwards as though over a flat surface. Inhale, forward, exhale, backwards. Next, moving into our lateral movement. Just sliding your ears left and right like you're trying to slide them over your shoulders. No tipping of the head up or down. Combining those movements, moving into a rotation, extending the head forward, around, back, and around, switching directions after 2 or 3 times in each direction. Clasping your hands, find the uncomfortable clasp, and then begin to trace figure eights. Following your thumbs first and then reversing direction, leading with your pinkies. Angry squirrels. Angry squirrels forward, angry squirrels behind you, angry squirrels to the sky, angry squirrels upside down. Saying angry squirrels over and over again is quite the tongue twister. From here, moving into ankle work. So point and lead with the toes. Draw the toes back and then have the foot follow the direction of the toes like you're doing a body wave, but with the feet. Then circle the ankle. Spread those toes really wide, finding space between the bones of the foot. Repeat with both feet, circling the ankle, spreading the toes. A little extra wiggle just for ducks. And from here, we'll come to all fours, planting hands under shoulders, knees under hips, moving into cat-cows, leading with the tailbone, moving the articulation through the spine, one vertebra at a time. Keeping the head lifted, begin the action as you tilt your tailbone down, allowing that arch to travel up the spine. Kind of a whip-like motion. Tail and top of the head moving in opposite directions. Well, at opposite ends of the body. Moving into disco kitties, jump roping the rib cage around, down, and through, really seeking some organic movement here, moving with some drama and some flair. And then we'll move into thread the needle. Lift your fingertips and gaze to the sky. Thread the needle, lowering your shoulder to hover a few inches above the floor. Inhale to rise, gaze following fingertips. Thread the needle to hover. Inhale to rise. Exhale, threading your needle, this time lowering shoulder to the floor. Making sure that your hips are above your knees, so adjusting your position if you need to. Taking a deep breath in, finding a deeper rotation, using your obliques to help deepen that stretch. Coming back to all fours, moving into hip cars, drawing that knee forward, up, around, down, and through. 2 or 3 times in each direction. And wag your tail. Find that oblique crunch left to right. And then we'll move into thread the needle on the other side. Inhale your fingertips to rise, your gaze to follow. Exhale, threading your needle, hovering your shoulder. Inhale, fingertips and gaze to rise. Exhale, thread your needle. Inhale to rise. Exhale, thread your needle, lowering shoulder to the floor. Really working through your thoracic spine, hips over knees. And from here, moving into hip circles on this side. Really squeezing the glute for the entire motion. And then sitting hips to heels, moving into child's pose, walking fingertips forward. Taking a deep breath in and exhale, walking fingers to the right. Breathing deep into the side body, feeling the expansion of the rib cage as you inhale and the contraction of the rib cage as you exhale, walking hands to the left, repeating that breath. And then from there, we'll come to the floor, getting started with some breath work and moving into pelvic tilts. So pausing for a few moments to inhale through your nose, exhale through pursed lips as though exhaling through a straw. Engaging your pelvic floor, inhaling as you lift through your pelvic floor, exhaling through pursed lips, finding that engagement of the belly, inhaling to breathe laterally into the rib cage. Go ahead and take your peace fingers, finding your hip bones and your lowest rib with your thumbs. Exhale as you tuck your pelvis, closing that gap between fingers and thumb. Inhale to return to a neutral spine. So as you exhale and tuck your pelvis, you'll feel your low spine imprinting to the floor. And as you inhale, returning to neutral. We're going to add the arms. So as you exhale, finding that pelvic tilt, arms will come up and overhead. As you inhale, returning to neutral spine, arms will travel back down by your sides. Coordinating the movement with your breath. From here, we're going to flow through a glute bridge. So using that pelvic tilt to engage the articulation. We don't want an arched spine, making sure that you maintain that tilted pelvis as you peel your spine off of the floor, one vertebra at a time, laying your spine back down in the same fashion. Your tailbone is first to lift, last to touch down. Think about pulling the floor towards you with your heels, activating through your hamstrings, also known as ham screams. We'll add the arms. Exhale, lifting the hips, arms come overhead. Inhale, lowering down, arms by your sides. Exhale to lift, arms overhead. Watch that arching of the lower back and the flare of the ribs. Inhale to lower. One more time. Exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Repeat 8 or so times. For this purposes, we're just going to do kind of a demo. Go ahead and windshield wiper your knees left to right. We're going to lift the knees into a reverse tabletop position, holding knees over hips as you circle your arms, finding the imprint of your spine into the floor, maintaining that pelvic tuck, and reverse directions, inhaling as your arms sweep overhead, exhaling as they come down and around. And pause for a nice stretch. Oh, excuse me. Okay, go ahead and find your band and find your block using my monkey feet there. Finding your dead bug position. So reverse tabletop and fingertips to the sky. You're going to extend one leg as your opposite arm and toes reach in opposite directions, traveling to about 45 degrees angles from the body. You only want to lower down so far as you can maintain the imprint of your spine to the floor, inhaling and exhaling as you cycle through the movement, coordinating your movement and your breath. Exhaling through pursed lips as though exhaling through a straw to maintain that deep core engagement. And next, we're going to do that same thing, but this time with a band. So the band will be around the arms, and you're going to be pressing out into the band the entire time, keeping your arms shoulder width apart. And we're going to move through single toe taps. So as you exhale, inhale, lifting and lowering the toes, keeping a 90-degree bend at the knees, moving from the hip. So you should be maintaining your spinal imprint into the floor, utilizing your pelvic tilt, lifting and lowering your toes to barely tap, keeping that 90-degree bend in your knees as much as possible, and the engagement in your band, which should really be getting those shoulder muscles active and warm. Okay. Cycling through a glute bridge, peel your spine off of the floor and lower back down. Find your block. This time the block will be between your hands and you'll be pressing into the block instead of out into the band, activating your pectoral muscles, your front deltoids, your biceps. Inhale and exhale as you cycle through single toe taps, 8 to 16 toe taps, as your hands utilize the different apparatus. And moving through a glute bridge, articulating your spine, peeling up off the floor, lowering back down one vertebra at a time. Bringing your block back to the party, you're going to put it between your thighs this time, just below the knees or above the knees. You want to be squeezing the block aggressively, fingertips to the sky. You're going to scissor your arms in opposite directions, inhaling and exhaling as you sweep your arms up and behind, coordinating your breath with your movement. Exhaling through pursed lips, really taking advantage of the Pilates breath to assist you in your movement, to give you power and strength and focus. Moving through a glute bridge. Exhale as you press down through your heels, lifting your hips to the sky. Inhale, lowering one vertebra at a time. Find your band. Thread your legs through your band. Draw the band up over the knees. We're going to move into penguins. So turning the palms to face the sky, lifting head, neck, and shoulders. You're going to shimmy left to right as you reach fingertips to toes. Doing some oblique work here, getting the core warmed up. And lower your legs to the left as you cast your gaze to the right for a nice supine spinal twist. Taking a moment to appreciate and enjoy the stretch, inhaling for length, exhaling to settle deeper into the stretch. Inhaling, legs to center. Exhale, lower your knees to the right as your gaze casts to the left, trying to keep shoulders to the floor and really using your oblique muscles to to settle deeper into your stretch. Okay, so here I am looking for my weights. So reaching for the weights, here we go. Notice I have maintained the band around my knees. I've got my heavier weights and my lighter weights. I only have a 3-pound set and a 5-pound set at my house. You'll also be wanting your block eventually. So go ahead and find your heavier weights. Now notice, but in this set, I forget to add the single arm extensions. So we're going to start with the chest press, exhaling as you press, inhaling as you lower, maintaining tension in the band the entire time. And then from this exercise, we're going to move into arms overhead. And I'm going to forget to add the individual arms. So that will come into play later on, but feel free to add it now if you want to. I've decided to find some lighter weights for the overhead arms, pressing the weights together so they're making contact. This pressing of the weights together is going to help to activate your serratus anterior and to keep your shoulder blades plugged into your rib cage. Exhale, arms overhead. Inhale, arms to rise. You can play with the breath pattern on this one, inhaling arms overhead and exhaling to rise, or exhaling arms overhead and inhaling to rise, whichever. Moving into tricep extensions here, keeping your arms perpendicular to the body. You're lowering and lifting the weights as you flex and extend through the elbows. Keeping that tension in the band, activating your outer thighs. This inner and outer thigh activation is really helping to stabilize your knees. All right, go ahead and lose the band. You're going to place the block between the knees, just above the knees. And you want to have it so that it's sort of the skinnier, the middle width, I suppose. And then you're going to squeeze the tar out of that block, activating your inner thighs as you move through your arm work once again. Exhaling is through your chest presses to the sky. Inhaling, lowering elbows to the floor, trying to keep your arms 45 degrees to your body, so elbows slightly lower than your shoulders. Again, arms overhead, pressing those dumbbells together. Lowering the dumbbells overhead, trying to tap the floor, keeping my arms nice and straight. After 8 or so of those, we'll be moving into those tricep extensions, flexing through the elbows, lowering the weights to the forehead. I think these are also called skull crushers. Exhale to press, inhale to lower. And here I've completely forgotten about the single arm stuff, but there's a nagging voice in my head that's telling me that something's missing and I'm not quite sure what it is. Thinking. We'll do some hip circles while my brain is working. Oh, look at that. I've just remembered. So I'm going to use the lighter weights here. Now this time my arms are extended to the sky. The weights are not in contact with each other, and I'm extending my arms one at a time. So you would want to incorporate this with both sets, either just before or just after you do the double arm overhead. Okay, clear some space and find your apparatus for sitting. We're going to do our sit to squat. Now I tried to lift to raise the level of my tripod, but then it sank back down. So I'm just I think I need a new tripod. It's not very functional. So first we're going to work with our bicep curls. So from the standing position, we'll do a bicep curl, lower hands by sides, squat to sit. So you really want to activate through the glutes. Make sure that you're in a comfortable position, a comfortable distance from your bench or your chair. You don't want to miss and land on the floor. Exhale to lift, pressing down through your heels, squeezing your glutes to rise. And as you stand up, do a bicep curl. And do about 8 of those. Next up, we're going to do the chest press, but I can't stand up and demonstrate this because of the frame. I'll be out of the frame. But you can also add the chest press from a seated position. So sit and press. Stand and press. Sit and press. And as you stand, try not to assist yourself with the standing motion by shifting your weight too far forward. You really want to keep the work in your legs as much as possible. And all right, so once we get finished with those, you'll do 8 or so of those. Go ahead and lose the chair or the bench, whatever you're using. We're going to come back to the floor on all fours for scapula push-ups. So shoulders, elbows, and wrists are in alignment. You're lowering with a flat back, chest to the floor, feeling your scapula squeezing your shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades squeezing your spine. And then you're going to do some rows. So finding your heavier weight, you're going to exhale as you lift, inhale as you lower, moving, feeling the movement happening through each shoulder blade. Keeping stillness through your body, your core engaged. And then moving into bird dogs, extending one leg and opposite arm. You'll lift and lower, working on one side at a time. You can add a little pulse into this one, or you can just lift and lower, but we're just going to work with one side at a time, doing 8 on each side. For the purposes of this video, I'm doing a limited number. And then we're going to do a Russian twist. And this is one that I took out of our in-person workout because we were running out of time. But from a seated position, you'll just find a hollow body scoop in the abdomen, and you'll rotate from the center of your core using a weight, and you'll do 8 on each side. Okay. Get that foam roller. We're going to do our mermaid stretch. So I don't think you can really see the position of my legs. I'm going to try to adjust the camera here. So you're in that 90-90 position. You're going to rotate your hand palm to the sky, hand on the foam roller. Other arm arches up and over, really thinking about arching through the side body, not lowering down with a straight side, really arcing. Inhaling into that side body, again, feeling the expansion of the rib cage. Exhaling, feeling the contraction of the rib cage. On your third one, you're going to rotate so that your chest and nose and forehead are all facing the floor. Inhaling and exhaling to find a deeper stretch. Inhaling to rise, switching sides. bringing that foam roller over to the other side. From there, you're going to rotate your palm face up. Your other arm will come up and overhead, bicep alongside ear. Inhale to rise. Exhale to stretch. Inhale to rise. And on the third one, once again, stretching out. You're going to rotate, squaring your shoulders and your chest to the floor. Inhaling and exhaling for a deeper stretch. And inhaling to rise, letting your fingertips lead you and lift you up and out. Okay, so we're going to come to stand. Once again, struggling a little bit to get myself in the frame entirely. We're going to do some kickbacks, some standing kickbacks. So using the foam roller for balance, you're going to externally rotate your leg, placing the hand of the working leg on the booty. That tactile cue is very, very important in helping to create that neural connection between the muscle that we're working and the brain. After 8 or so kickbacks, you're going to lift and hold. And then we're going to do side kicks. So you're lifting and lowering, trying to lead with the heel as you lift your leg to the side. And you're really using the meaty upper side glute muscle, that glute medius. It's a really important muscle for hip stabilization. And then we're going to do some leg extensions. So lifting your knee level with your hip, you want to make sure that your hips are level left to right and that one hip is not hiked higher than the other. Flex and extend through the knee, pointing and flexing your toes, holding your legs straight out. Have 8 little pulses and then lower down. Switching sides once again, working through the kickbacks, placing hand to booty, lift and lower, squeezing the glute the entire time. Moving into those side kicks once again, trying to lead with that heel, using that meaty glute medius. Lifting your knee, checking for the elevation of your hip. Extend and flex through the knee, keeping toes pointed or a combination of pointing and flexing through the foot. Hold and pulse. Flex the knee and lower down. Okie dokie. Everybody's favorite balance challenge. So you're going to really plant your weight into one foot. Make sure all of your stuff is out of the way. You don't want to trip and fall. You're going to plant your weight. You're going to lift your leg with eyes closed. And then you want to kind of disturb your balance. So you want to wiggle, you want to move. You want to try to do this with your eyes closed as much as you can. Of course, don't put yourself in danger. Never keep your eyes closed if it means that you're going to fall. Open your eyes as soon as you feel that it's necessary for you to maintain an upright relationship with gravity. And then from there, we're going to step into a side body stretch. So your right leg sweeps behind the left. Your right arm comes up and over. And repeat with the other leg. Nice side body stretch. We're going to do some good morning. So hinging forward from the hips, maintaining a flat back, lifting your belly button towards your spine, keeping your core glued in tight. Exhale as you forward fold. Inhale as you stand, really using your glutes. Activating through your quadriceps to find length through the hamstrings. My chair is going to make an appearance once again. If you wanted to step over to your apparatus, feel free to do so. Pressing your knee away as you cross your ankle over the other leg. You're going to continue with that hinging motion, hinging forward, lowering your chest towards your shin, finding length through the backside of your body, and switching feet. Nice deep breath in and exhale. And there we are.